everybody, it's Lacey,
And I'm Lauren.
and welcome to another episode of the Lomas Podcast.
And today we are back together after a while. It has been kind of a crazy summer and busy, and I think things are getting more back to regular routine for everybody now as we're more into. My kids haven't went back to school yet. They don't go back till next week, but we're getting more in a routine.
So what grades are your kids going into?
First and K4.
Okay, so this is my question. Were you super emotional when Kylie started 5K?
No.
I've been terrible, Lauren. So my youngest started 5K last week, and I have cried multiple days, multiple days. I just cannot get it together. And then like yesterday and today's like, I don't want to go to school. And I honestly want to reply, I don't want you to go either, but I can't because I have to be the bigger person. And so I have to say, oh, but it was a great day. And meanwhile, my heart is just breaking. Like I didn't so my kids went to school together for a couple years in their early years in preschool. Like Mac was just a year old, Luke would have been 4, and but the school was like 30 minutes away, so I'd have to get ready, get them ready. We all left, and then when they went to different schools, we put Luke in public school. I would go drop Luke off with Mac, and then I'd come home and get ready, and then me and Mac, I'd drop him off and go to work. This is the first time in so long, I think since ever, I drop both of them off and then I go get ready by myself, and I'm lonely. I don't know what to do. Like I used to look forward to this. Like I remember Lori, when I rented from her, I was like, how does it feel just to get ready without any interruptions and just sit there? And she's like, you're gonna regret. You're gonna miss it. That's what she said. And I can say that she was correct because I don't know what to do with myself. I come home and the house is empty and I have like an hour and a half to get ready for work, and I'm like, I don't know what to do by myself.
Well, that is not the case for me. I guess like I get up, I get ready, I drop them off at school about 7:45, then I just come to work. It
So you
gives me
don't go
like
back and get ready.
no, I mean, it doesn't take me long to get ready. I don't like overly style myself for work. I have on a pink shirt from Kohl's and some black pants
Yeah.
and some makeup. Like I don't really do a lot. It takes me all of like 20 minutes to get ready. So I don't
So
I don't dress up that like I just don't. It's not that I don't care. I do. I want to look nice, but like I put on some foundation, some blush, some eyeliner, and lipstick, and that's about it.
it takes me a little longer, especially my hair, but I have very textured hair and it's very thick and stuff. So, my hair alone usually takes about at least minimum 10 minutes, minimum. And I will say a lot of times as long as I like blow dry it, when I wash it, it won't take me as long to do my hair, but I will have to at least run a straightener through it or a curling iron, depending. Um,
Well, I wear my
but
hair up half the time, and it doesn't look the best. But like
I'm
it's hot,
bored almost
and
every day.
we'll see. Like even when I have court, my hair typically is going to go up
Yeah.
because it is so like today. I think it's going to be 103 degrees. So like if I walk
Yeah.
outside, my hair looks awful. So it just, I mean, it is what it is. And
Yeah.
I've just accepted that. And I don't think any of the judges here have looked at me and been like, oh my gosh, your hair looks awful. I don't
Yeah.
think they care. I don't like, it's just not a big deal for me.
Well,
So
I
it
go
takes
home and
me,
get ready, and so I already have to get them up at 6. We're not morning people either, so I have to get them up at 6:30, and so I'm not getting up at 5:30 to get ready beforehand.
I will say the nice thing about what I do is our phones at the office don't turn on till 9. And like, it's really for me getting here early and having time with no phones and like
Yeah,
maybe sometimes
thank you
Jill's
for
here.
that.
I can get way more like work done in that hour
Right,
than I can sometimes all day. So it's just
right,
for me, it's helpful.
yeah. Um. So, anyways, that's where I'm at. So my friend Brittany, she's kind of in the same emotional boat that I am. Apparently, Lauren just has no emotions. just picking.
I
Um,
mean, yes, I'm just thankful. Like,
I
well,
wouldn't
my
be that
kids,
way with Blue.
the same school. They are going to go. We're private school people. They're going to go to the same school till the day they graduate. I never thought I would be a private school mom, but here I am.
Yeah,
And I love the teachers. I love the staff. I feel like they're well taken care of. And my kids
yeah,
like school. So, like, they are ready to go back. So I think that helps
right.
too. But I will say
Yeah,
Angie, my front desk admin, her granddaughter started kindergarten for the first time, and her daughter has been a complete wreck. Like
yeah.
crying, shaking, waking up with nightmares. So I think it's just depends. I mean, I don't think there's a
Well,
right or wrong way.
I think that he's my baby. That's hard, and it is a new school, so on top of like that layered, and then so the I have my adopted babies, and Reed is one, and he's the only one I was actually living in Union for when he started 5K, and so I just keep getting memories back of his starting 5K, and he moves into USC on Saturday, and I'm like, God, these memories. I mean, it feels like it was just the other year, and now he's moving into college. So I guess the realization of how fast it goes, and Brittany has struggled because, her go-to people with life changes has always been her mother-in-law and her aunt, and both of them passed this year. And once she said that, I was like, oh my, I think another layer is I'm not on great terms with my mom or my sister right now. And it'll be fine. Like every family goes through tiffs, especially when you're a family of all girls. So I know that it'll it'll be fine, but it's hard right now to not be on good terms with such a big life event because I don't have anybody. Like I have my mother-in-law, and I'm so glad I've had her because I've talked to her a lot about this week. But it's hard not to have like my mom experience this with me. But anyways, so that was my question because I have cried. I cried the whole way home on Monday. I'll
It
just be
might be different when it's Maddie too, because Kylie's my oldest and she's going into first grade. Maddie's in 4K. Uh, so it might be different because Maddie's my baby. Like, that's it.
right.
We're not having any more kids. A psychic told me we were going to have a third, but I think she just was probably getting confused with my dogs because I treat them as babies. So maybe
Yeah,
that was it. But like,
yeah,
we're done. Maddie's my baby. So I may be more emotional with Maddie than I am with Kylie because
yeah,
it'll be like my final kindergarten, I guess.
right. So anyway, switching to speaking of children, a very tragic story going on in it's pretty nationwide. I mean, it's trending on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. I don't think you can go on any social media site right now and not see something on the Lindsay Clancy trial.
Which
Um,
is honestly why I started watching it because I got tired of seeing all these like theories online
right.
and I'm like, I'm gonna go watch the trial. I'm gonna see what true
Yeah.
evidence is presented.
So you're going to get two different, to our listeners' perspectives, because I have not. I am only seeing what's on social media. I've not watched any of the trial. My paralegal has. She's been very invested in it. I told her I was going to get a Kayla meter so I could know where she's at as far as guilty and not guilty. So just to summarize, if you are living under a rock, Lindsay Clancy was charged with murdering her three young children, I believe, by strangling them.
With
Um,
exercise bands.
and she is on trial for their murder right now. From my understanding, the defense's theory is that she suffered from postpartum psychosis,
Psychosis.
and so that is their defense. It seems like a not guilty by reasonable insanity is kind of what they're going for. So what have you, I guess, from the trial, let's start with like, what have you noticed from things you see on social media that aren't going on in the trial? Like they don't match. Can you think of anything or?
It's kind of the whole like I feel like okay, for one, I'm just gonna say I think we as a society don't like to think a woman will murder her children. Like I think
Mhm.
that's just it. We want to find Um, like, because there's so many conspiracy theories, the
Yeah.
husband did it and stuff. And I think some of it is we just want to find that a woman won't do that. But as we saw, Andrea Yates did,
Mm-hmm.
Susan Smith did.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there are plenty of women that murder their children. So I think some of it is just this we don't want to think that. And it's rare. I mean, women really are rarely killers as much as men. I mean, as Lacey's pointed out, her favorite serial killer is a woman. And she's one of the only. And I think it's just hard for us. So I guess though, like a
And she
lot
doesn't
of the
plot and plan murders in advance, though, either. Like, we don't see a lot of women serial killers, like, where they're, like, lurking in the dark, like with
right.
Bryan Kohberger, the Idaho murders. Like, we could think
He
of
had
Ted
a
Bundy. We
plan.
could think, but women, you don't really see that.
Women are more crimes of passion.
Correct.
Like we get inflamed and we react.
This is
And
all.
I do think women in general, we have a different thought process. I mean, our hormones play a lot more role than what I think they do in men because we do have way, not that men's hormones don't fluctuate, they obviously do. Like you have
Right.
different levels, but women, we fluctuate so much in a month. And
Yeah.
especially like as our bodies go through major changes like pregnancy and like menopause, we just have a lot of changes in our body.
Hmm.
But I think a lot of what we've been pulling from is people just, okay, so I think the biggest thing that has got on my nerves is the theory the husband did it.
I like it though, because he's the only one with motive to do
But
it.
is
Or
he?
if he just didn't care about her mental state and didn't care what happened, because then he could just move on with life with the new woman he had.
But he wasn't having an affair. At no point has any phone records have been went through. This is the thing. The internet sleuths are coming up with this stuff that none of it was actually presented. So
Mm-hmm.
you mean to tell me if you were her defense attorney, you wouldn't have argued he was but honestly, if he was having an affair, it gave her more motive to do it, if you want to know my honest truth, because then it should be like, screw him, I'm gonna take you and the kids out, like kind of thing.
Yeah.
No, none of it, no record show he was ever having an affair. Honestly, was he a crappy husband? Maybe, maybe not. So that's the thing. We don't know because I really don't think she'll take the stand in any of this. And if you're
Yeah.
claiming an insanity plea, I really don't think she needs to take the stand.
Right.
But realistically, there's been no evidence shown that um, he was having an affair, which is what the internet has went wild with. He actually did not get married to this woman until this year, if you actually look at the real records.
Oh,
Um,
they were saying like within 6 months of the kids
He
dying.
moved. No, he
Oh,
moved from the home he lived in to New York, where
yeah.
his company was based. He was working remote to be at home with her and the children. And once all this happened, he moved because I'm not going to stay in a house my kids were murdered in
Right.
either. So, like a lot of this stuff they're coming up with, there's no foundation for it. And I'm just saying, I mean, I think her criminal defense attorney is very smart. He comes off as a jerk a lot, which I don't like, but some people like it. Like that just depends on what you like as an attorney. I think you can get more flies with honey than you can with vinegar, but there was like that whole thing Sheldon said on the Big Bang Theory, you get more with poop. So, kind of that whole theory. Like that is just
Yeah. I
his
get you.
trial presence. That
Right.
has nothing to do. As far as an intelligent attorney, he is very smart. I think he is. So if there was any thought that the husband did it, this criminal defense attorney would have went after that in motions prior to this hearing. So I think that whole theory is like discrediting her attorney's theory, which he's
Mhm.
gone the whole time. He has never, she admitted to doing it. They never tried to get that thrown out. And if he was, and I think this attorney is smart, if he was not a smart attorney, he would have done a lot more than what's happening now. He wouldn't be going for the insanity defense if he truly thought she didn't do it. So
Right.
that's like kind of my thought from the legal's perspective. And
Hmm.
like, there's people are going, well, his DNA was on the bands and hers wasn't. That's not what's been admitted into evidence. Every person in that house's DNA was on those bands. It was a convoluted mess of DNA on the bands.
See,
And
I don't
he,
know any of this, and I think that's important to distinguish watching the trial versus social media. I'm really glad we did this episode just because, like I said, I've only really gotten exposure to social media. So it's interesting
no,
for me to hear what's actually,
everybody's DNA was on the bands. That
yeah,
has been completely like, oh,
wow.
her DNA. Her DNA was. It's just when there's so much, like if 20 people touch this pen I'm holding, if you're
Mhm.
listening, I'm holding a pen, rubbing it. I don't know how many of my clients have touched this pen.
Right.
I don't know how many people in my office have touched this pen. This pen is going to have a ton of DNA on it. And it's going to be hard to pinpoint someone's DNA if a billion people have touched it. So, like, I think some of it is they're trying to make science different than what it is. So that's kind of why I just don't, I don't like it. And another thing, this is one thing you've talked about before, Lacey, is how people react to crimes. Doesn't mean they don't. He got on the stand and people are like, well, he wasn't crying. Okay, we don't know what all meds this man is on that he could have knocked himself out to feel no emotion.
Right.
There's that. Also, this happened years ago, and the only way he might can get through it is to show no emotion. He may go home and bawl his eyes out.
Yeah.
So, and he's also testifying for the defense. He is not the state's witness. He actually was called as a hostile witness. I think that's something people don't understand too. Like, you can call a witness that is not on your side. It's a hostile witness. And when you do that, you have more leeway in how you question them because it's like you're doing cross from the start.
Right.
But no,
Because he
he was,
still supports. He is supportive of her. Correct.
yes, he thinks
He thinks she was having in
he
psych.
thinks she had a mental break. Now, granted, he's got a civil lawsuit going, which I think plays into this too. So I think just from the legal side of things, people are running away with stuff that's not true. And they are like you, just watching TikTok videos, not watching the trial to see actually what's being presented as evidence.
Yeah.
Um, and I think that's kind of like what's really got on my nerves with this is like, I don't know. Was this man a good husband? I don't know. Like, from what I'm seeing, maybe not. Maybe he wasn't a good husband and dad. But we are on the internet saying because this man didn't react how you wanted him to react because he said she killed the effing kids. People have went off about that. Okay, he was in a state of panic because he didn't react the exact way you wanted him to. And because he may not have been husband of the year, you're going on and saying he killed these children. And I guess, in my opinion, he doesn't deserve that because I think if there was actual truth that he did that, and people are going, oh, well, if you look at this CVS picture, it says he had on these shoes, and this one doesn't say this when
I
he
see.
went to go pick up the food. Okay, are y'all saying her defense attorney was that stupid he couldn't recognize that in the pictures? Like,
Yeah.
are you saying this defense attorney who has represented many high profile cases, you know way more than him?
Yeah.
That's kind of where I feel. Like,
Right.
I don't like her defense attorney's vibe. I can tell you that. But I think he is smart, and I think any good defense attorney would have found this stuff not from you sleuths on the internet. I mean, you're pretty
Um.
much saying he's an idiot.
Yeah. So, a couple things I will say from the social media side that I think are good things and positive things. Because we've definitely pointed out a lot of the negatives. Is one, like, you typically don't see a lot of people supporting defense attorneys in cases. But I've seen a lot of things, positive comments about them, and so to go from like the Rick Chow case, and seeing how much like Sean Kent went through and the hate he received. I mean, he was getting death threats for him and his wife in being a defense attorney in that case, which clearly completely different facts and stuff. But I do believe there is just more positivity for the defense attorney, which I think goes to what you were saying, Lauren, and how intelligent he is. And as a defense attorney, like I just don't see that. That's very rare in a public trial to see people give, I guess, positive points to the defense attorney. And so I was like, how can you do that? How can you represent that in that case? And you're just not seeing that here. And a lot of people are annoyed with the prosecutors, the hair
There-
bows. Um,
I will say I don't like the hair bows. I'm
I
a
don't either.
person that I put my children in bows because they are children.
I think some people, like my paralegal said, there are some people that could pull it off. She said, like, I think you could pull off a bow in the appropriate matter. Not every matter, but there may be something. Like I've worn fun socks on Down Syndrome Day. But again, even though I was going to General Sessions Court and I had my fun socks for Down Syndrome Day, it was like a very easy time served plea.
You
even though the
weren't on
story's wrong.
national TV.
Right. And the thing is if I were in the middle of a murder trial, I might have worn my fun socks, but I probably would have worn pants because I have to balance being a defense attorney with being an advocate for my son on Down Syndrome Day, right? And I just think there's time and place. And this just is very inappropriate with the hair bows. I don't think they pull it off.
And
And
I hate saying that, honestly, because right now I feel like I'm doing how people did Marsha Clark in the OJ trial and judged her on her looks. And I hate that the hair bows bother me, but they do.
yeah. And unfortunately, we both know we don't know what a jury's going to do. Some jurors follow the law to a T. I think that's what we saw in the Rick Chow case. Some jurors go off of emotion. Some jurors go off of how they feel about people. Well, I like the defendant, so even though, like, by law they're guilty, I like them. I'm going to cut them
Right.
off. Or they're going to base it off the attorneys. I literally had a jury deliberate for just as long as the trial. And afterwards, they did find my client guilty, but they said, yeah, we just really struggled because we really didn't like that prosecutor, but we liked you. Wasn't enough at the end of the day, but some trials it is. Some trials, hey, I like the attorney better than the prosecutor. So, as much as we hate to talk about it, especially with women, we don't know who's is sitting in that jury box and what they're going to base it off.
And I will say, I think the prosecution is not doing well on this case. I don't think they're doing as bad as like in Murdaugh, the prosecution sucked.
Yeah.
It just is what it is. Um, I feel like it's kind of like the OJ Simpson level. Like they're a little in over their heads. And I hate saying this because they are women. Like I do hate it. But I also feel like I want to be fair because
Yeah.
just being a woman doesn't mean no, I don't feel like they've done a great job presenting their case. They haven't. I feel like, and this is the thing, I am an attorney. I don't play into courtroom dramatics. I hate it. Like that is not for me. I do a lot of probate cases, which is more, we don't have a jury. We go in front of a judge. We deal more on law. And I feel like those are not like, they're emotional. Don't get me wrong, because families are emotional. It's not that it's not an emotional case, but it's not dramatics. But I get it. With the jury, like that is why I could never do like personal injury. I'm not one of those theatrical
Yeah.
people. Like that is just not me. But in jury cases, it does matter if they like you or not. And like from the social media aspect, a lot of people are liking the defense attorney, which is why I don't like what they're doing to him, because it's like you're saying, oh, he's such a good attorney, but he's an idiot. He didn't see this. Like, kind of like type stuff. And I will say the other big thing that has really bothered me with this case is how they have went against the women who are doctors and are saying they failed her. Okay, so one thing that has really got on my nerves. So when I watch the trial, there's a chat to the side of it. I don't know. I'm watching it on YouTube. It's
Uh-huh.
like AP Press or whatever is putting it on YouTube. Well, people can chat. I don't chat because it would just anger me to start chatting with people. But I do read it occasionally. And people are like, she didn't order the genetics testing. She failed them. Okay, you know what? Go after the insurance company because insurance companies do not pay for genetic testing. So if you don't order it and a person can't pay for it, the doctor can't do it. So that's kind of one of these things that I feel like overall, like, yes, I feel like Dr. Tufts, who was one of her many doctors, let's put out there, many, made some mistakes. Dr. Tufts, though, we're going after her individually, and it's not. She was a doctor at a hospital. The hospital assigned her, they're like, she knew she was over her head. The hospital assigned her this patient. What is she supposed to do? She's an employee of the hospital. She's bound by what the hospital, and yeah, she got into her quicker because she was new. But let's not say she was new. She graduated years ago and she had went through years of residency. So just because she hadn't been long into practicing on her own does not mean she's not, doctors aren't like attorneys.
Hmm.
We take the bar and they're like, go forth, practice, do whatever. Doctors graduate and then have to go through years of training depending on what their thing is. So it's a little different in that